All right, so welcome back. Right, welcome back to this YouTube channel again. So the last video we have learned to use a pre-trained model. So like I just introduced you to this thing called LangChain, where you can use pre-trained language models for your problems. Maybe you have an organization, maybe you want to maybe you're for your own purpose, personal purpose. Maybe you have a website, probably a teaching website. I mean, we could use it. For example, we have Udacity. Udacity, you probably know about it. If not, it's a learning company where you can learn different things. They have many courses. So they also used Udacity GPT, right? So they have their own GPT. It's not that they have trained their own model, but they have used this pre-trained model, I believe. I think they have used this pre-trained model, maybe GPT or maybe chat GPT, some model like that, pre-trained model, to actually have their own chatbot. Now we can actually talk to the chatbot. And it is actually very useful for the company because they don't have to build the model from scratch again. So that is the thing. So in this video, what we are going to do is, in the last video, we have developed this. Sorry. So yeah. So in the last video, we have learned how to develop how to. It's not we not build any fancy things, not build any like huge thing, but we just learn how to use a library, right? Pre-trained model library that contains some pre-trained models, right? So to actually build a question answering system, right? Given context and when we ask question, it can actually answer it, which is like super amazing. Now let's try to deploy this app. Let's try to deploy this application into an app such that everyone can actually use it, and we'll build a good interface. Like building a good interface is actually very good. And when I was earlier, learning about machine learning, when I wanted to build projects, I was not that good with front end development. I have no idea with front end development. I'm actually a back end developer. All machine learning developers are, all machine learning programmers, engineers are back end developers. But we have a good tool here called Anvil, right? So I have actually learned this from a YouTuber called Nicholas Renault. It's Anvil. And Anvil. So so he have introduced me to this thing. It's I think it's a company. Yeah, it's a company with which you could create web apps like from nothing, but just Python. You just like write your backend, and you could start building an app. So first, go to this website anvil.works. Click on start building. Right click on blank app. I'm not actually going to do this. This is our app. This I've actually built this app. I'm going to just go walk you through this app, the code and all that. But just click on this blank app. I'm not going to create a new app from now. Right? Just click on new app, and then you could you have an interface, and you can add buttons and as possible. Right? I'm going to give here. So if you click on new app, you'll get to this window. You'll get window like this. So here what I've done is go to click on this side. See here what I've done is I'm going to put that here. Here what I've done is you'll have this tool. You can just add buttons. Right? To actually add buttons, you have to click on this and drag it here. I've actually clicked on this and drag it here, and I've named this button as answer. Right? So if you click on that, you'll get the output. And then I've made the heading as ask me anything. So you just click on this, place it here, increase the font size, right? And then you can also here to actually include labels, to actually include for actually taking inputs from the front end. So this is actually front end. Like this is I'm going to show you how that looks, how the web form looks in just a minute. So you can just add these forms, these tables, such that users can actually input the information like the context and the question. Right, this front end will take the input and give it to our backend, which we actually wrote here in this Google Colab. So this input will be inputted to this Google Colab and will generate an output. We'll create a callable function and all that. We'll see about that. So we have an input text, right? So all the context text and the question text, which is nothing but the actual question what you are asking, and then we'll have the answer displayed here. So I've actually added this text box. So use this. Just click on this and drag this here. You can actually name this as input text, question text, and answer text. So let me just try. Let me just show it to you how that looks. So click here, label 2. So to actually change the name, click on this and either when you're creating input text, just write input text, question text, question text, then answer text. Just write answer text. And I'm going to delete that because we don't need it. We don't actually need it. So after you have created interface like this, I'm going to put that down here. So after you have created interface like this, right? So I want what you should do is click on this button, right? Click on this button, and you will get a code, right? So you will get a server link. So click on enable server link, and then you'll just get a code. Right? Copy that code. Make sure to keep that code private because it's like an API. It's like an API key. So make sure to keep it private. So I've actually done. I've actually got that code, but I hidden the code cell just because I don't want you to know my code. I don't want you to hack my account. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you're hackers. So yeah. So this is the code I have put in here. I'm not going to show that. I'll try not to. And then so we have this file here. So that is I want to do that first. Right. So I want to build this interface first. Do this. Get the uplink. Click on the uplink. You'll get a code, the API key. Just copy that and create a variable called code. Right. So here yeah, so create a variable called code, and inside the code store the API key as a string, right? And then let's go to the Colab notebook to see what we should write at the backend. So this is essentially the backend, not very big, a very simple. We're just calling this pre-trained model. We are just calling this pre-trained language model inside this transformers that can actually answer from summary, of course. So we are going to install transformers, this library transformers. We have actually you are familiar with this line in the last video. And then we're going to import these three functions from this class or three classes from this file. And then we are actually going to create that pipeline. So the pipeline is going to be question answering, and then we are going to use a specific data set. Make sure to experiment if you want to, and we'll also use a tokenizer. After we have actually initialized our model, we have actually initialized the pipeline of our model, and we are ready to predict, right? So you should install this package, right? Just write in your Colab when you're actually writing command line arguments or Linux or the arguments that you type on command prompt, right? So we are actually installing, right? So make sure to add the exclamatory mark and write pip install Anvil colon or slash or whatever that is. What is the symbol? I forgot. Sorry, my vocabulary of English is very weak. So you can just say pip install Anvil uplink, and you'll have this installed. Right. So don't ignore the warning, whatever that is. And then next import anvil.server, right? And just import anvil.server. And after that, you can just write anvil.server.connect and put in the uplink code. Right. First store that in let's say a variable called code, and then just use strings, right? Just create a string of the code, and then you can just connect it, right? You can just connect to the Anvil file. You can just connect to this interface, to this to this front end, and then just write this line anvil.server.callable, right? So you can just write this line to actually create a function that is actually callable in the Anvil while writing it. Anvil, we'll actually use this function, right? We'll actually use this function in the Anvil code. We're actually going to write the Anvil front end code also. So this is actually the backend. So what we'll do is inside this, we'll actually write the main function. What is going to be the function that is going to be outputted in the Anvil front end. So I'm going to create a question set, right? We have did this in the last video. We are going to create a dictionary in which we are going to have a question key and context key, right? So we are going to have two inputs, right? So in this model, we are going to have the context, which is the actual input, the text the model has to get the answer from, and then we're going to have the question, which is nothing but the actual question, whatever that is. And then we're going to pass these results. So the input of answer questions, the input of this function is question and context. We are going to get the question and context from the input, and we're going to create a dictionary, and we're going to just paste this input that we have already got from this function. So we are going to input to this function from the Anvil editor, and then we're going to calculate the results, and then we're going to return the results to the Anvil editor. So that is the backend. This is all the backend, right? So we have a not very complex. We're just using the pre-trained model again, right? So pretty simple, right? And then wait a minute. So yeah, so we're actually going to do that. We're going to connect to this front end first and Anvil, and then we're going to create the callable function through which we could actually interact with Anvil. So through which Anvil can actually call our function that we actually wrote here. Right. So I've actually connected this Anvil. I've actually run it here. So Anvil is connected. Now what I'll do is I'll just show you this code. So I'm going to write this code. So you are going to get this code before only. You are going to get this code. Uh, wait a minute. So you are going to get this code. You are going to get this code again. First of all, so just go through this button or just go to here, design, go to design, right? Click on this button 2 times, and then we're going to get this function. We're going to drag this here. Just going to change the dimension just so I can work on the code. Let's so I can teach here. So this is it. This is the code that we wrote on the right on the front end. So what we'll do is we have two inputs, right? Question text and input text. So I'll first create a variable question text, which is nothing but self.question text. So question text is nothing but text inserted in this row. As you can see here, just see my cursor, right? So this row, so this is the column, right? So the question entered in this column is actually question text, right? Whatever text entered here, and here the in context is actually here, this, and here the input text. The context is actually inputted by the user. So in the input text, the context will be inputted. The question text, the question will be inputted. So I will just initialize both of these values into these variables, question text and input text. The question text is the input entered in this column. Input text is the input entered in this column, and we're going to initialize them. We're going to get these values, and then we're going to calculate the result. So see how we calculate the result. So we are going to say anvil.server.call. So this is actually the class. So we are going to use this function, the call function, and then this is the value in this is nothing but the name of the function that we are going to use. So as you can see here, the name of the function is answer questions. I'm going to put this name of the function answer questions here, and then we're going to input the question text, right? So the question text that we actually have from this that will get from this row or this text box, and then we're going to have the input text, which will be the input entered from this text box, and then we'll call this function. So we'll just call this function with these inputs. We'll call answer questions function. Go to get back. We're going to call this answer questions function with this input, right? With question text and input text, and then we're going to get the result. The result is nothing but, so after we get the result in this result variable, we are going to update this answer here. So we're going to have the answer, right? So we are going to update this text box. We are going to update this text box with result. Result is nothing but the output of the answer questions function. So that is the code explanation, right? So I think that's it, right? So we actually got that. Hope you got that. What is going to happen here? Close that. So if you have any like doubts or something, just please maybe comment, right? Or there you probably know my LinkedIn or something. Just contact me. Maybe I'll do anything for you. So this is the little project that we have done, and if you just click on run button, so you'll get this nice interface. If you are any front end developer, you will probably be very angry with me. Like, this is not at all a very good interface, I know, but I mean, you could update it from Anvil. I'm not blaming Anvil anything, but it is just my pure it's my poor design skills. I don't have very good design skills, I'm telling you. So to actually for the context text, I've thought of inputting the generative adversarial network text. So if you don't know about it, we are going to learn about this. So after NLP, I think we are going to do a lot of NLP videos from now on. Maybe some, I don't know. But after that, we are going to learn about generative adversarial networks. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to teach you everything. Don't worry. I'm just going to paste this text. I'm just going to copy this text. Let's copy it. Right. So the app is actually running now. You can actually input anything. So I'll first input the context, which is nothing but this huge paragraph. Sorry. Sorry. I actually have this good paragraph. So we have this paragraph. Let's to see. Yeah, we have this huge paragraph. And then I'm going to, let's say, write a question. What should we write? Right. So let's say, what question should we ask? Let's say, when was GANs invented? Or yeah, so who invented GANs? I'm going to, so we have inputted this context, this paragraph, and we want our model to actually answer the question that I'm about to write from the paragraph. So I'm going to say, who invented GANs? GANs, generative adversarial networks. So I'm going to say the answer. The answer is Ian Goodfellow. Let's see if the model is able to do it. So I'm just going to try. Let's answer. Good. So the answer is Ian Goodfellow. He was the one who actually invented GANs. GANs. Or GANs. He was the one who invented GANs. Now let's say, I write something like, when was it invented? When was GANs invented? I'm just going to try if that comes up. Maybe. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. We have got the output as June 2014. Right. Yeah. Like, it is able to understand features. So you understand, right? You have actually build an app. I mean, you could try to design it, maybe just try to go through Anvil features. It's like a very good platform. Not sponsored because I don't have any audience, but still, this is a very good website. Just check it out. Maybe you can just, if you have any machine learning applications, maybe any projects in your mind, just start building. Don't worry about the front end. I've made that mistake. I don't have many front end developer friends, but make sure to use this app. Like, I'm pretty sure there are more apps like this. Maybe I'll cover that in the future. Maybe I should also learn to use these apps like this to actually deploy my models, machine learning models, my projects. So thank you for watching, and hope you got anything. I hope you got some good information. I hope I have used your time pretty well. I have used your time pretty well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.